I'm going with the Meatless Monday theme today. I have made Pappardella pasta before with different roasted vegetables, especially broccoli rabe. A friend of mine sent me a magazine recipe that is fantastic, and I swear I'm going to make it about every 2 weeks for dinner. We're using a really good textured Pappardella pasta, and then we're going to char off the cauliflower. We're going to mix in a little crushed red pepper and some mustard, and it's going to just bring it all together with some toasted Italian breadcrumbs. So stay with me throughout the hour. We're bringing a white on white pasta and cauliflower, but it's going to be a flavor full of colors. I think you're going to really like this dish. It's simple and it's so flavorful. So we've taken a head of cauliflower and we've just basically cut off those florets, and then I have the stem part separate. Now if you want to make less steps, you can go ahead and roast the stems as well. I'm going to saute them with garlic. This dish does require a few extra pots and pans, but in my house, whoever cooks doesn't have to clean up, so I say go for it. So we have about 3 tablespoons of olive oil, give or take, depending on the size of the cauliflower. And of course, you want to do kosher salt, sea salt, and black pepper. And we're going to put this into our baking pan right like that. And we're putting the oven on broil. So we're looking for that real dark char. We're going to get that black part on it. Not completely burnt, but definitely charred. We'll check that in about 5 minutes. It's probably going to take about 8 to 10 minutes. We're going to stir it twice, and then it will come out, and we'll be really ready to go. And I have some already done so you can see. So that nice char on it, I'm telling you, it really brings out a great flavor. And if you don't like cauliflower, try it this way, because I really think you'll enjoy it. So next, what we're going to do is we have a pan of oil, and we're going to add capers. You know the capers is the little Mediterranean buds, the little plants. I have the big caper berries for this particular one, and I'll serve them right with the stem, and I let people just kind of cut them in half in their pasta, but it really brings a nice tangy bite. I love capers. Remember, they're salt bombs, so you're not going to have to salt the dish as much as if you were going to salt it if it didn't have something like a caper in it. So we'll put in a few more, and we'll give that a fry just for about 2 minutes. Now, a lot of times what I'll do is just dump out the oil and then use the same pan, but I'm going to get started over here in toasting up the breadcrumbs. You want to either make homemade breadcrumbs that are on the coarse side, or what I love are panko Italian breadcrumbs. And I just picked these up right at Fresh Market. They add a nice texture. I even switched over to use the panko style Italian breadcrumbs when I'm making chicken parmesan. So we'll add about that much in the breadcrumbs and really give it a depth of flavor to toast it. And I'm going to use crushed red pepper twice, once over here and then back in with the pasta. So while I finish frying the caper berries and turning the cauliflower over, I will get ready to come back in a few minutes and work on this dish with you. Now what I'm going to do is I've taken those chopped stems from the cauliflower that we usually just throw away. Not anymore. Let's add some pine nuts, toast that up, just a teeny bit of oil in there, and we'll get those pine nuts going and soften the stems a little bit. Now over in this pan, we've got a little bit of olive oil, and what we're going to do is we're going to add some of the pasta that's already cooked. A nice al dente on this pasta, folks, okay? You want to have that bite. And they have the delicious capers going on in there. And you know, by all means, you can use the little baby capers. You can use both. You can do some big and some smaller capers. Whenever I'm cooking pasta in a dish, in case I need a little liquid so it doesn't dry out, and it's gonna a little bit with these toasted breadcrumbs, save the pasta water. That also is a bit of a thickening agent, which is great. So let's lower the heat on the pasta, and let's get back over here where we have the stems. That's going to give us a lot of color too. Now we're going to add some garlic, 3 or 4 cloves of fresh garlic. And you know my theory, I don't want you buying the kind that's chopped in a jar in oil, because that is really too bitter and takes away from the great flavor that fresh garlic's going to express. So let's toss this pasta around a little bit. We have the caper berries. I'll get a few more in there. There we go. Now it's time to slowly start adding the toasted panko Italian breadcrumbs. Now you're kind of getting that theory. Here's another great recipe to use clams and do like a linguine and clam sauce, but you have the breadcrumbs in it. Really a nice combination of an Italian dish. Let's get a little bit of that cracked red pepper, so it's the second time we've used it today. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to bring it over and we're going to start to add those stems that are still a little bit crunchy and the toasted pine nuts, and then let's take that charred cauliflower, okay, and get that all in. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to season it with salt and pepper and then give it another taste. It might need just a dash more olive oil to make it just perfect. And you know what? Believe it or not, this is great room temperature or the next day for lunch. We have a great dish. I'm going to throw some fresh parsley on top and we are ready for lunch. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
In the kitchen with Judy, and oh my goodness, I just sampled that. That's fantastic.
And John, I almost forgot. Well, I did forget on air. You take some Dijon mustard, about a third of a cup, and olive oil, and you mix that together, and then you toss that into that pasta
that little
dish.
zing.
Boom. So between the fried capers and the breadcrumbs, and then you got to have a little Romano cheese to sprinkle on top. I think it is just a fun fall dish, even
That's
if it
delicious.
is 90-something degrees outside.
All these flavors, and when you roast something like that, my gosh, it just tastes so good.
Yeah, it really
just tastes
does.
so good. Recipe on our website, mysuncooks.com. It is a good one too, let me tell you. And you sprinkle a little parsley on top of there, finish it off.
Boom.
All right. Recipe is again on our website. Check it out on the dining page. It's good stuff there. Judy, thank you.
Thank you, John. Good to have you back.
It's good to be back. I missed your cooking. Scott.